That's right. Forgot about this. It's on. Yes. Can you ever? And where do people hear me? On the online people? Okay, there we go. Okay.
Now I can hear you.
We have all roles filled today. Thank you for doing that, everyone that's here. And I will call the meeting to order. We have an interesting, but very important theme today, which is why we are probably all here, because not only are we shy in public speaking or get nervous when public speaking, but we also want to communicate effectively. Before I get to the meeting officials to explain their roles, I'd like to refer to the theme being the art of effective communication. It's why we're here, to communicate effectively. Becoming a better, or in this case, sense, an effective communicator involves taking that first step of walking through that door over there or logging into Zoom. That's one big hurdle to get over, and you should be proud of doing just that. Having effective communication can aid you in your job interviews. Sounding and speaking smartly can perhaps cause you to smash that interview, or giving a toast at a wedding, a special anniversary, or a milestone birthday. And with me, delivering the eulogy at my father's celebration of life a year ago tomorrow, or a year ago next week, sorry. He passed away a year ago tomorrow. All great opportunities to effectively communicate your message to the audience. Our club has a grammarian role, but not all clubs do. I'll be inviting Yukta up to tell us about that role. In most cases, part of the role is to catch improper uses of grammar as a learning curve. My club in Argentina doesn't mention the name of the person to avoid any possible embarrassment. They simply mention the word or phrase that was said, then state the proper way to say it. When saying that correct way, it allows us all to hear it and understand it, so we can all effectively communicate better. Most clubs have an counter meeting role. The club I visit regularly in England refers to it as the counter. I think you can see where that is going, but I'll leave it up to Yukta to effectively communicate that role in a moment. We have mentors here in this club, or at this club, longtime Toastmasters, that can assist newer members with their speeches by reviewing what has been written. The mentor could perhaps suggest another way to communicate the message more effectively. Speaking of Yukta, please take a moment to describe your dual roles of grammarian and counter, which are sometimes combined into one role as it is at my home club, and tell us of the word of the day. Please welcome Yukta.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bruce. As the grammarian today, it'll be my job to ensure that we use proper grammar during the meeting. We also have a word of the day because all of us like improving our vocabulary. So this is a word that's common, but not so common. So it's going to be a little challenging, but it's also going to be easy to use it. The word of the day is eloquent. Eloquent. And the gesture every time a person uses the word eloquent would be, yes, that's the gesture, eloquent. It means fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing. Usage, or an example of it, could be, she delivered an eloquent speech. It's an adjective, so you use it before a speech or a script or anything like that. As the counter, I'm going to count the number of or any filler words like, right? So, like. So we are going to try and avoid using these words. Instead, if you're still thinking, you might want to pause. It's a great thing to use pauses in the right way. So as an counter, I'll count the number of filler words, and as the grammarian, I'll look at the right usage, the usage that could be improved, and the usage of the word of the day. Over to you, Bruce.
Thank you, Yukta, for that. Our timer is online. Adrian, if you could show yourself so we can describe the role of timer with the 3 colored backgrounds. There you go.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Bruce. All right. So yes, this is my first time
muted?
Oh, can you hear me?
Hang on,
Hello?
Adrian, we can't hear you, but
Test, test.
they're checking something out here, Adrian.
Hello?
No. Other side?
Testing.
Okay, say something.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, it's coming in faint.
Testing. Hello?
Yeah. That is, it's gonna.
Testing. Testing.
Tech issues here.
No
Hang on.
worries.
Oh. I can-
Is it better? Testing. Test.
Did you do a test, Adrian?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Testing.
there we go. Yes, we can hear you now. Not loud and
Okay.
clear. That's good.
All right.
Go
All
ahead.
right. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. All right. This is my first time as the timer. So as the timer, I will time the table topic speakers, formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green. Let me find it. The green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific times remaining. So for table topic speakers, should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will raise the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card. At 2 minutes, I will raise the red card. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to their specific speech times. For example, as an icebreaker speech, it should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. And most other speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. The individual evaluations should be between 2 to 3 minutes. All right, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Adrian. And according on the agenda, we have one speaker today, which is Elton, and it's an 18 to 22 minute speech. So 18 at green, 20 at yellow, and 22 at red. Also, Adrian, if you could use the raised hand feature that is in the bottom of your bar under the reactions button, that will put you in the top left corner so that everybody can see you.
Okay, let me try that. Is it
Yep,
this?
yeah, perfect. That's it. Yep.
And
Perfect.
sorry,
And then-
say that again. 18, 19, and
No,
what was
18,
it?
20, 22. 18,
Oh.
20, 22.
Okay,
Okay, that's a green, yellow, red. It's a much longer speech today.
it is.
And probably when you go on mute, you're going to get a little message down at the bottom, pop-up window down by the reactions button, just like that. Click cancel because you've now, there you go. Okay. Got it?
Yeah, it's gonna come up again, but
It's going to come up. Yeah, it's going to come up when you go on mute and that, and just quickly click cancel. Okay.
okay. Yeah, got it.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna get into our first case, okay. Isn't it? We're gonna get into our first section of the meeting today, and that will be run by table topics, or the first section is table topics, and yep. Yes, thank you. For the guests online, we see a Leanne. Leanne, can you go off mute and maybe go on camera just to introduce yourself to us, please?
Hi everyone, my name is
Hello.
Leanne. I was introduced by Owen to this club as a visitor.
Right, I was the one that emailed you, Leanne.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. And who is, I can't make out what the name of the one to the right of Leanne is. Does anybody see what that is? Yeah, I don't have that name down there. So if the other guest that's on there, something in Fuentes, if you could unmute yourself and show and maybe go on camera if you're available and tell us about yourself.
Hi, good
There you are.
afternoon. My name is Natalia Cifuentes, and I joined to the conversation today because I want to improve more my communication. I feel that I'm missing some more elements to have a better communication.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you for that. And guests in the room. Yep, hi there. Jen, yeah, do you want to come up here? Because this is where the microphone is. Let's go to. Just hold that.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, I'm Chen. I have been a Toastmasters for over 20 years within the city of Toronto. And in the last 5 years, I have been, I took a pause for some other adventures. And now I'm looking to re-enter and visit different clubs to see, you know, which one I'd like to rejoin and hopefully start doing some more speeches.
Thank you. That was totally unexpected. I had no idea that you were an existing Toastmaster. So, and you're actually in it longer than me because I'm coming up to my 18th year anniversary and she's at 20, but Ken is much longer. He's over 30 years. Yeah. Thank you, Bibi, for doing that. And we also want to welcome Kate, our newest member to the club. So Kate, if you could just kind of wave and stand, whatever. There you go. Thank you for doing that. Okay, now we're going to go into the table topics section. And with that, I will call upon our table topics master, which is Michelle.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Hello? What happened?
Oh, how do I do this? Oh, Elton, I hate this camera.
You said move you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. So this part of the meeting is the table topics. It gives you an opportunity to speak on a topic that you're not aware of. So what I'll do is I'll ask a question and then you can say, you know, what you want about it for 1 to 2 minutes. So Mr. Timer, at 1 minute, the green light comes on. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, the yellow light, and 2 minutes, the red light. And I would encourage everyone to use the word of the day, eloquent. So who would like to go first? Oh yes, and you have to go like this if you say the word eloquent. Yeah. Okay, so who would like to start first? You'll do it? Okay, thank you. So I'll say the question first. Describe a situation where you had to practice active listening.
That's a good question. Hi, I'm Steven. All right, active listening. I guess like almost every meeting in work, I have to practice active listening because there's so many things going on every day that it's important that I kind of take a step back and really kind of think about what people are saying, because I have to then apply that that what I've learned, that knowledge to the work for for the rest of my day. So I would say, yeah, like within my work capacity, it's really important for me to be listening actively, and just like I guess for example, like in the meeting we usually have in the morning, sorry, we usually have a meeting where we talk about what's going to be going on for the day. And if I'm not actively listening at that meeting, I'm not going to know what's going on. So yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Can I get your name?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Stephen. Thank you. So yes, it's important to use active listening skills at work or in any situation. So the next question is, when do you use your persuasion skills, which is a form of communication? You'll take that, Bibi? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. When do I
use persuasion skills.
when I use my persuasion? I guess many of you do not know, but the reason I joined Toastmaster was to improve my persuasion skills. I wanted to persuade my children to do it my way. Mom knows it the best. Listen to her. It makes a difference. Makes a difference. Helps you get where you want to go. Not only did I use it on my children, I use it in my work. As a manager, my idea is I need to persuade people. So at work, I use my persuasion skills. And then in Toastmasters, when I become an area director, guess what? I persuaded my areas to come forth and take up leadership roles. I found my replacement as a division director. I have used my persuasion skills to my best. What advice do I have to give any one of you? Ladies and gentlemen, be aware. Be aware of what it is, the outcome you're hoping for. And then be dependent on that outcome will depend on how you will go about using your persuasion skills. I find being a servant leader is very good, that if I do it my way and show people, then they would want to follow me. Or I would look at what they're doing and say, hey, do you think it may have a better impact if you do it X, Y, and Z way instead of the way that you had intended? Or let's try it your way and see what is your results, or try it my way and see what is my result. So basically, you can use your persuasion skills anyway. You can persuade people any form of life if you know where you want, what outcome you're hoping for. Back to you, Madam Table Topic.
Thank you so much. No. Well, thank you so much, Bibi. And so it's important, if you have a goal or an outcome, that will be easy for you to persuade. And you've learned all of that through Toastmasters. So that's great. I'm going to ask our guest, would you like to try? Okay. What are the pros and cons of digital communication?
Oh, fellow Toastmasters. So the pros and cons of digital communication, not technology. Okay, yes. So the pros is like, for example, in the form we're at now, we can all communicate effectively virtually as well as in person. So this is a great example of for our fellow Toastmasters and guests who are on virtually, they can still attend the meeting. So that's a great pro. The other pro as well, it's efficient, right? A lot of things we're doing now, it's so efficient to order our food, our grocery, be in touch with our family and friends through Facebook and Instagram. If you have all of those apps on your phone, it's a great way to connect and to share ideas and learn from each other. Now, the con or the disadvantage, I should say, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves, is that too much technology and too much digital environment, I don't think it's actually very good for mental health. I think that in-person communication is a lot more effective than digital communication. And I think one of the solutions that I think that I'm working on in my business is that how can we communicate better in person and be good at it versus relying on our technology.
Thank you so much, Chan. Yeah, so the pros are that we're able to have in-person and online Toastmaster meetings, but at the same time, it's important to communicate in person as well. And do we have time for one more? Yeah, okay. Who would like to go next? New member? Oh yeah, the guests online, yes. Would anyone like to try?
I can try.
Okay. Oh, can I get your name again? Sorry.
Natalia.
Sorry?
Natalia. Natalia.
Oh, Natalia? Natalia. Okay. How do you handle conflicts in communication?
That is an interesting question that I want to share with you one of the experience. For example, at work, we have a different kind of conflicts because we work in an environment multidisciplinary. When we have a different kind of culture, we speak different language. But the first section that we can understand is the problem and found the difference that we have in the communication. And the idea is not to criticize the other. It's just to understand and make a balance between the 2 points of view, the different point of view that we can reach, and we work together in a solution. Part of the conflict that we have it is because there are different assumptions, and we assume we just get a different ideas, and they cause too many frustration in any life, in personal life, with the friends, with the work. It cause different kind of problem that is we base our first section to understand the point of view and how we can bring some of the different solution we can resolve better the problem. The other part for a conflict is understand that nobody can have a one opinion. We need to be open and flexible to recognize that it's a different opinions, and everybody we have the idea to share and complement the point of the other. In part of the communication, we need to resolve the skills like don't impose our point. It's just to open communication for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalia. Yes, it's very important to use your active listening and not make assumptions and realize that everybody has different opinions. And I think that's it is that it for now? Okay. So back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Michelle, for that. Well done. And thank you for involving both in-person audiences and our audience and the online audience. Adrian, you can clear your background to without a color, and then there you go. Perfect. Thank you for that. We usually have a best table topics speaker vote. So the three online people, if you can send a private chat message to Elton. What's the name of the screen? Elton, sorry. What is the name of your screen that they can send the online vote to? Is it Toronto Liberty Village Speakers? Okay. So the three online people, if you can send a vote to the Toronto Liberty Village Speakers in private chat, that would be great. Elton will pick it up from there. Thank you. We'll just give about a minute. I don't have one yet, so I'll need one.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we are done. Thank you, Elton, for being our vote counter for today. Speaking of Elton, he is our prepared speaker for today. His introduction is the following. Communication is the lifeblood of human connection. Yet, how often do we think we've communicated clearly, only to realize later that our message didn't hit the mark? Let me take you back to a moment when he thought he had conveyed the perfect message, only to find that it left others confused. It was then that he began to truly appreciate the art of effective communication, which is the theme of today's meeting. And with that, Elton, sir, are you ready? Oh, Tommy, yes. Thank you for that. Purpose statement is going to be read by Bibi coming up.
Thank you. Today, we're happy and proud that Elton is working on his 5th path in visionary communications. He is going to be attacking the project Prepared to Speak Professionally. And that's why today his speak is going to be 18 to 22 minutes. And here is the purpose of his project. The purpose of this project is for the member to prepare to speak, to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. The member completing this project has been working to build skills necessary to engage an audience for an extended period of time. Of course, his speech would be a keynote type of speech. He wants to leave us a message, a keynote. It's 18 to 20 minutes. It can be either humorous, informational, or the style the member chooses. And the member should demonstrate excellent presentation skills, and he should do it with such eloquence or eloquently that when we leave here, we will all remember the speech that Elton is presenting today on mastering the art of effective communication. Back to you.
Yeah, you stole the camera by doing that.
Can I move now?
You can try. Okay, I'll stand over here now. So you can do it when you come up, Elton and stuff. Just a reminder to timer Adrian, verbally, Bibi said 18 to 20 minutes. It's 18 to 22. So it's 18, 20, and 22, green, yellow, and red. Thank you for that. Please join me in welcoming Elton Brown for Yes, mastering the art of effective communication, which happens to be the theme. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that that was happening. The mastering the art of effective communication, Elton Brown.
Have you or someone that you've known found yourself in a situation where you just didn't connect, you didn't understand what the person was doing? Better yet, what if it's the other way around? Have you thought about that? And what is effective communication? What is it really? It certainly isn't because that's only one way. And unfortunately, it being one way and you still don't understand what the person is trying to deliver means that you're wasting your time or they're wasting their time, because communication has to be a two-way street. It could be me talking to you and you're nodding your head, letting me know that you're receiving the information, or better yet, if you don't like what I'm saying, you could be going, no, I don't like it. Depends on the person. The speed versus someone who maybe talks a little slower determines how effective your communication is. So there are a couple of things that we're going to talk about today to help us become better speakers. And one of them happens to be clarity. That's one. Number two, active listening. And number three, adaptability. Now, there are a whole lot of other points that probably would also fit into this conversation. But for right now, those are the only three that we're going to talk about because, well, you know, being effective communicators as we are, we know that if we talk about more than 3 points, well, those 4, 5, and 6 points, they're just going to fall off the plate and not to be remembered. We as Toastmasters are here because we want to hone our communication skills. Being a communicator, also a good communicator, allows us to be a good leader. You can't be a good leader if you can't communicate, because you can't move the people, you can't persuade people, you can't quell arguments unless you are a good communicator. Communication, this is a side note, doesn't necessarily have to be verbal. It could be in the form of body language. That's a form of communication, right? How many times have, you know, our parents told us to do something, we went, I certainly don't want to do that. Why doesn't she do it? You know, it's her house. Let her do it. Love you, Mom. I remember I was in a very, very touchy situation where I was being pursued by someone. I thought I told that person clearly that how I was emotionally invested in them. I said, "You're a friend. I cherish our friendship." I thought I had made that clear. But the subsequent months and the subsequent years, I realized that obviously either the person was extremely determined or they just didn't get it. Again, somewhere along the line, we fell off the rails. We went over the cliff because, well, communication didn't work. But one thing that you have to remember, sometimes communication does work, but the person that receives it, it is up to them to decide whether or not they want to accept it. Again, that is a form of communication, right? Yes or no, maybe. And all you can do is deliver and make sure that whatever it is that you're delivering is clear so that you're able to proceed. And hopefully the individual that you deliver the message to will understand exactly where you stand. That is a good leader. I think leaders have to be nice. They have to be personable, but they also have to be firm in a very kind and loving way. Not to hurt anyone, not to make someone feel belittled, because communication should be a way of building up individuals. It's extremely important to build people up, not tear them down or ostracize them because maybe they didn't do something the way that you wanted them to do it. That's not what communication is. So clarity. And clarity is the foundation for effective communication. We have to make sure that when we speak, that we ensure that our communication is free from jargon. You know what I mean? And well, maybe we could probably do it like this. No, not clear. You have to be extremely clear about what it is that you want people to do, or they won't do it. Just like kids, right? If you have kids, they know that if they don't do something that mom or dad tells them to do, they're going to have to be put in their room for a timeout, which most kids do not like. So imagine if you were given a project briefing at work and there were 4 key points that you gave individuals and they didn't follow them. Either they didn't remember them, they didn't follow them. How do you handle a situation like that? What would you do in order to get them to understand what those 4 points are and how to go about doing them. I'm asking you. Ask questions. Anybody else? And what does that mean? If they did, go. That's right. Again, it's a two-way street, just like I said earlier. You have to listen to them, they've got to listen to you. If they don't listen to you, then whatever you're saying doesn't make any difference. And if it's the other way around and you're not listening to them, again, they're not, it's a waste of time. So let's try to remember that clarity is the key to fundamental communication. You got to be clear. Active listening, that was something that we talked about earlier in table topics. I think that was brought up then. How many of you have pretend that you are active listening? Raise your hand. Come on, come on, let's be real. Come on. Pretend that you're active listening. Yes. I agree with you on that. Yeah. Well, that's it. So anyway, like I was saying, see, you weren't listening to those other people you were talking to. You were just pretending to be active listening. Active listening means that you have to listen to what the other individual says. So if I said to Bibi, rapasa, okay, there you go. See, that's the response. I don't know what you're saying. You need to come back and say it another way. Or sometimes you, as the communicator, have to look at individuals and watch their body language. We've all done that too, where you've talked to someone and you can see the glaze over. They have no idea what you're talking about. And so what you have to do is stop and try it another way. Figure out another way to tell them exactly the same thing, but you're just using a different platform. See, these are kind and loving ways of handling these situations where you don't have to feel troubled or feel guilty or angry if the individual is not getting the information. It's not being delivered. It's kind of like, if you send an email to somebody and they say they didn't get it. And you're like, I know you got that email. I know you did. No, I didn't get the email. So again, communication is a part of, there is clarity and then there's active listening. So both sides have to be clear and not pretending to be active listening. We all do it. Even sometimes when you're watching TV. I know I'm doing it a lot right now with the presidential debates and everything else that's coming up, I'm so into it. And then there are times when I'm sitting there and for me, it's just, there's a sound that's in the back of my mind. I'm looking at the TV, but actually all I'm hearing is, woo. I'm not receiving anything. I'm just sitting there pretending as if I'm actually listening. So active listening means opening your eyes, looking at the individual, stopping them, asking them to repeat something if you don't understand it, Or you repeat it back to them and say, is this what you meant? Are you trying to tell me such and such? It's okay too. It doesn't mean that you're stupid or anything because you asked somebody to repeat something because you didn't get it. I'm sure Mr. Einstein he didn't always get it the first time either. If he got it the first time, maybe he would have been a better scientist. He would have been able to, do time travel if he was able to get it right the first time. Being adaptable is, wow, I can't stress this enough. Being adaptable is what creates that maximum impact. Because if I can get up and give a speech to individuals that I already kind of sort of like a know, right? In Toastmasters, we know that we're supposed to know our audience before we get up and give a speech. I'm going to give a speech at this really posh club. I'm getting paid about $7,500 to do this speech for an hour. In the audience, there are dog lovers. These people love their dogs. They sleep with them, they eat with them, they take them to the groomers every other week. They trim the nails. They make sure they have no sleep in their eyes. They brush their teeth. They bathe with them every day. They love their dogs, okay? And don't tell me they don't love their dogs, because I know it. I walk in to give a speech. I've practiced this speech almost a month now. I don't even need notes. I can just get up and just give this speech because, oh yeah, with one eye open. I can. But the speech happens to be on cats. For some reason, I don't think I'm going to be an effective communicator. Or maybe I'm going to talk about kangaroos. Would that work? I don't think so. Not unless they're dogs. Being adaptable allows us to also have a sense of empathy, because you're watching the person, you're looking to see how they're handling the information that you're giving them. You're adapting to that individual, maybe to the way they talk, maybe the way they act, in order to get your message across. So it could be if I'm talking to someone who is a street person, okay? And so if I walked up to a street person and I'm talking to them the way I'm talking to you now, they would look at me and go, no, dog, I'm sorry. That ain't happening. I don't know what you're talking about. You need to come off your high horse and you need to come down now and talk to me. Because it's not going to work. Again, we're on two different planes. And there has to be either you come up to come down to their plane, or vice versa, or better yet, you find a bridge where the two of you can meet. How would you feel about adaptability? What do you think adaptability is? And can you give an example when you were adaptable? Yuka.
Uneasy sitting in the room to learn and they wanted to have fun. I introduced a lot of activities and conversations adapted to their requirements.
Very good. You see how that works? We all can do this. All we have to do is just be aware. It's all about being aware, in tune with your environment, wherever it happens to be, and not allow yourself to be so fixed on your goal that you miss everything else that's going on around you. You just don't want to do that. So we've talked about clarity as the foundation. We talked about being an active listener, and we've talked about being adaptable. These are only 3 things. There are at least 6 other points that can be brought into this conversation. We're not, but it could, because people are different. You can't just come up with a checklist and say, okay, I'm going to go through 1 through 6 with Ken. And you see how he's looking over there? He's not even looking at me, because that's not the way I'm going to communicate with Ken. I can't do it with a checklist. Can't do that with anyone else with a checklist. This is why you have to be adaptable. This is why you have to be kind of fluid when you're talking to somebody, so that they're able to, grab your shoulder and you can take them along to wherever you want to go, as long as they understand that you are communicating with empathy. So effective communication is more than just speaking. We can all do that. Just talk. Just talk about anything we want to talk about. Talk about nothing. But you're still talking. And there are a lot of songs about that. You're talking loud but saying nothing. We don't want to find ourselves in that category. So to be an effective communicator, remember that it's up to you. It is your responsibility. You can't expect to give that responsibility to somebody else. It is up to you to make sure that your message is delivered and their message is accepted by you. Doing those 3 things that we talked about will help you master the art of communication.
Thank you, Elton.
I wondered that.
I'm getting it there. Thank you. I just got to grab my. Okay, if anyone is online, or those who are online, if you want to send any feedback, comments to Elton, you can send it directly in private chat to the Toronto Liberty Village Speakers account that's on there. So I have my glasses right here. There's a few points in Elton's speech that was very eloquently stated. They were whatever that thing is. At my Toastmasters club in Argentina, whenever we say the word of the day, we go like this, like a wave motion thing. I've never seen that before. But it was you talked about active listening. I'm trying to give your evaluator 1 minute here. You talked about active listening, which is what Michelle did during Table Topics. Because one of the path projects is active listening, in which you simply become the table topics master. And you invite guests up, which she did, and then you have a comment afterwards to prove that you were actively listening. Evaluator Bibi, are you ready? Okay, you don't come up yet though. We have to call up the general evaluator. And that is Ken. I'll turn that over to Ken.
The general evaluator leads the evaluation section of the meeting by calling up the evaluation team one at a time, and also gives an overall evaluation of the meeting. As your general evaluator, I've been watching carefully, and I'll be reporting on the things that I think are being done well at this meeting, and also give some suggestions on how the meeting can be run better in the future. Of course, everybody's evaluation is a personal and opinionated evaluation, so you're welcome to take away from the evaluation and the presentation what you find useful. You don't have to agree with the evaluators. You might learn to agree with them. You might learn to disagree with them. Everything's cool there. So our speaker today had a very seasoned evaluator in place, carefully noting things that she'd like to suggest, things that she'd like to highlight. And I'd like to call upon Bibi to give that evaluation today for Elton's keynote address.
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, and especially you out there. Friends, don't you all agree with me that Elton gave an eloquent presentation today? How many of you today are going to take away something of what he shared with us? The three foundations he spoke to us about: clarity, active listening, and adaptability. And how did he do that? He did that with so much posh. His delivery was done in such a manner that we will all be remembering. It was memorable. He did that by using excellent, clear language. Language that we can communicate with. It wasn't too high, it wasn't too low, it was just right to get the message across to us, and that is what his intention was as a beginning to speak professionally. Get that message over to your team. He also did this using excellent vocal variety, body language, facial expression. He injected humor and had the audacity to smile at us sometimes. I'm sure we enjoyed the beautiful smile, Elton. I'm sure we did. In his delivery, he also used pauses. And what I really loved about it was the fact that he asked questions. He engaged the audience. Did you feel engaged, fellow Toastmasters? Thank you so much. He asked me questions. He asked you questions. We were engaged. He did it with so much clarity. And he used language like he can do this with one eye open when he was talking about adaptability, speaking to dog lovers about cats. Not going to work. He did that so eloquent. But I have to give Elton some gifts, and I am pretty sure my members here and those in the audience can tell us where we can help Elton to improve. The first thing I noticed in his informational speech was, you spent so much time in asking us, why do you pretend? But you didn't give us a little answer there. Why do we pretend that we are actually listening? In Elton, you are doing the mistake I am doing. I did not acknowledge the online audience as much as I should. I noticed you did sometimes, but just be cognizant that they are there and we should acknowledge them also. in Alton. Well, how could you, as a seasoned Toastmaster, begin most of your questions with the letter so, with the word so this, so that, so that? How could you do that? You were so eloquent, and then I sit back and listen. So, with that, Elton, excellent speech. What I liked about your speech, it was fluid, it was clear, it was to the point, it was approachable, it was in, and where you can improve, perhaps because you spend so much time on why do you pretend, tell us, add why do we pretend. Try to remember not to begin your question with so, and remember to acknowledge your online audience. And with that, back to you, Mr. Donald.
Oh, baby.
No, go back.
Just walk over here. Just
You
walk.
have to walk over
Yeah,
here.
come over here, baby. Come over here.
Now
Lock it up. Lock it up.
Lock it up.
We'll lock it. There you go. That should do it.
That's great.
It's like we have an over affectionate pet in our midst and won't stop following us around. Well, we've had the macro view. Isn't that great? Now we're going to have the micro view, and this brings up our grammarian to tell us how carefully language is used. Let's bring up your thing. Right, it's on. You don't have to.
All right, I think it was a fabulous meeting. There are a few good usage that I've made a note of as the grammarian. Be aware of what outcome you're hoping for. BB said this. I think that phrase was very well done. Be aware of what outcome you're hoping for. Servant leader, again, that was a term that BB used. I know it's a kind of leadership, but bringing that into her speech was wonderful. Natalia, did I get your name right? Natalia. Okay, Natalia said, we need to be open and flexible. I think that was well done. Another one that I really liked by Elton was, I really loved that. I think that grabbed people's attention and that was very well done. BB also used the word of the day 3 times. I don't think anyone else used the word of the day. You did, okay, sorry. So 3 times by BB and Bruce used it once. Okay, now as the R counter, I have some usage, and I think it's nice for all of us to know what are terms that we usually hold on to or we use as our crutch terms. Adrian, you have a habit of starting your sentences with all right. So that's something you might want to pay attention to. All right when you start a sentence. Stephen, you had 14 ers, 1 2 that's that were unnecessary, and 1 line. Then I have Chan. Chan, you have no ers, but you have 8 2 you knows, and 1 right. Natalia has 3 ers. Elton, overall, there was nothing but a couple of places where you said we, I, and then I think the pauses were a little too long. But otherwise, you did not use many crutch words. And that's it from my report.
No, this one, you have to. Oh, yeah. I see it. You don't have to do, you don't have to wait.
No.
I don't know where I went.
Oh, we have to come back.
All right, come on back. It was fine. I think it was live. Let's see if that works. All right. That. Go over a little bit here. All right. So how do you think we did with time? Okay, I think our timer will know better than that. Adrian, want to give us the timer report?
Yes, thank you. So for the time, I have we did well overall. We have Stephen, who did table topics, 1 minute and 5 seconds. BB, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. The third speaker, I didn't get her name, but she did 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then Natalia did 1 minute and 50 seconds. Elton, 23 minutes. But there was also that weird cutoff when the internet went down. And BB, 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Yukta, 1 minute and 55 seconds. I think we did very well with time. Yeah, thank you.
Heard from the grammarian, we've heard from the timekeeper, and the general evaluator gets to speak now, and that's me. And I'll keep my comments succinct and eloquent at the same time. Is that possible? Are they mutually exclusive? That is yet to be seen. We started our meeting on time at 6:15 today, and with the words on the theme from our host, our Toastmaster, and combined with a roll call, make sure the roles were filled, and introducing the grammarian and the role, very well orchestrated conductor of this wonderful orchestra he is. Yukta, as eloquent as always, gave us an example of the word in a sentence, so we were able to easily adapt that to our language today. And I think that every meeting should have a unique gesture for the word so that it keeps us listening and thinking. So you don't just knock on the table or clap like we usually do. What's I supposed to do again? Oh, yes. We had some tech problems prior to Adrian's work. The road crew jumped into action and we took care of those. I think we have a very interesting room set up here. It does provide some challenges for people. For instance, if I want to engage with the remote audience, I look this way, not this way, which is hard to get used to. But it's really nice to have the camera and the live audience in the same line, because then I don't have to change where I'm looking much at all. The only reason I would look here is to check the timer, but we have a local copy of the timer in our audience, so that makes things perfect there too. And this holding of the microphone thing, I think if we just pin it here, it might just work out well. Too bad we had a glitch with the network, and when it came back, the camera wasn't sure where it was going, and anyway, we got around that. And that's what being adaptable means, right? I like the introduction to Elton's speech. I was happy about that. I thought we did well there by learning the objectives. We learned the title, a little bit about our speaker. So things could have gone better as far as the introduction goes. So overall, my comments on the meeting were relatively positive, aside from a few technical glitches. And I think getting used to the room might be a challenge for some people, but you're prepared now to deal with almost anything, because I think we've had almost everything thrown at us here tonight. So good for you. Keep up the good work. And I hope our guests saw what can happen when things don't go perfectly. We rise to the occasion. We are flexible and we know how to get things done. Bruce.
Thank you. Do we have yes, you counting? Okay. Yes. And Michelle, if you want to come up and announce the table topics winner, please.
Have a drum roll. So it is a tie between BB and Chan, the best table topic speaker. Thank you.
It's just for bragging rights, Chan. Okay, we got club business here. I'm the club president. Anything to say? Yes, all the club officers are trained. And that's right. And guest comments. Jan, I'll call you up first. Yeah, that's where the microphone is, so.
This is my first meeting that I've attended where I have the live audience and the virtual online. And thank you for reminding me, I'm looking at the camera. But you know, it's very engaging. I learned so much. And I can't wait to get back as a member and start doing my speeches because I am missing that. You know, I did a ton of speeches, both in my career as well as some personal volunteering things I'm doing. But I realized that having that structure and writing a speech and about something you're passionate about and coming up here and speaking about it and sharing your thoughts, it's so empowering. And I'm looking forward to come back as a member and hopefully you guys will see me again.
Sorry about the clunk that you may have heard online. There we go. Michelle, you want to say something or no, or you're good? Oh, you're a member. It's because I'm seeing her for the first time in person. I'm so used to being online with her. Jen, you want to, oh, Stephen, yes, of course. I was going down the road.
Hey, everyone. So this was actually my first meeting ever. So I'm really happy to be here. I learned a lot from his speech. I thought he was really confident and it was very inspirational for me. So I want to just thank you all for having me and I'm looking forward to coming to the next one. And I won't wave my hand in front of that.
Yes. Thank you. And Stephen volunteered as a guest, a first-time person to Toastmasters. You actually volunteered for table topics, so that's brave. That is very brave. Natalia, online, what any comments from you, please?
Yes, thank you so much for the meeting. Was really appreciated. Also, all the topics that we discussed today. For me also, I want to know how often is that meeting? The first time that I joined. I am not in Toronto. I'm happy to be there, but I am in Montreal. And just I want to know to keep in contact and to assist this meeting virtually. Thank you.
Natalia, if you wouldn't mind plopping your email address into the chat box for Adrian, you can send it privately to Adrian.
Okay,
And then
I will do.
Adrian, as a member, you'll let us know so that we can reach out to you. So just pop your email address into the private chat to Adrian for us. Thank you. And Leanne, comments from you?
Hi, everyone. This is my first time attending this meeting, and I think you guys did a great job because I think this is quite new to you doing a hybrid meeting, and you guys fixed it really quickly. So yeah, I have a great time here. Thank you.
Thank you, Leanne. And just so everyone knows, this club was actually the second club in District 60 to go hybrid. So we've been doing it for a while. We just had that technical glitch, but with any online component of a Toastmasters meeting, there could be anything can happen. and that's what all of a sudden we saw the screen over here go blank and we thought, uh-oh, what happened? But Elton paused a little bit and then Ken came to the rescue and he was able to continue on his speech. With that, it is 7:30, right on the button. Wow. Oh, go ahead. What? Elton, continue.
Our next meeting is on September 24th. You are all invited. And the theme of the meeting is, can you be a better leader?
Yes. Everybody can. Thank you, Elton. I have been referring to Elton as the PR, the public relations king of the club. recently, and that's what what he does for the club is amazing. Thank you for that. And Leanne and Natalia, please come back. We hope to see you again. The same link on the 24th, you said? Yes. Yeah, on September 24th, same time and channel as Batman would say, right? Yeah, and with that, I will adjourn meeting number, whatever it was I said at the beginning, because I don't have it in front of me. Actually, I do, but I don't have my glasses. So, thank you. Very welcome. Oh, thank you.